Well, as Texas lawmakers convene for the special legislative session, the future of THC-infused products hang in the balance. After vetoing a proposed total THC ban, Governor Greg Abbott has said he only wants to ban intoxicating THC products. It's a move that could reshape a booming $10 billion hemp industry right here in Texas. But a Texas Senate committee has already advanced a new bill that bans all THC products during the session, setting up another showdown between lawmakers and the governor. It sounds like the committee is doubling down on this issue. Joining us today to discuss, Jake Bullock. He is the founder and CEO of Cann. That is Cann. He is one of the first and largest THC beverage brands in the state. Jake is also a founding member of the Coalition for Adult Beverage Alternatives. Jake, welcome to Hello Houston.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I guess the place to start right now, you being in the industry and well connected to all of this, what do you think is going to happen in the legislative session? What's your feeling? I'm sure you folks talk to legislators and trying to figure out where people are voting, what's going to happen. What do you think the outcome is going to be here?
Yeah, it feels a little bit like deja vu, right? We were just down this road in the regular session, and there was a ban bill passed through the Senate, and it was forced through the House and went to the governor's desk, and the governor said, nope, I don't think that a ban is the right policy here, and encouraged lawmakers to figure out a different solution. And I think, we're hopeful that they actually go do that. They take the governor's message and they try to figure out how to regulate the safest products that are out there. And there are many products like ours, which are 2 milligram of THC drinks. They kind of like the strength of a light beer. People drink them instead of alcohol. They feel better the next day. Like, how do we regulate those products? And then let's ban the really dangerous ones, which we all know. They're synthetic. They're marketed to kids. They have chemicals in them that we can't understand the health effects of, right? Those products, everyone agrees. We agree with Lieutenant Governor Patrick. We agree with Senator Perry. Should be banned. But let's not ban everything. That doesn't make sense either.
Jake, I understand conservative Republicans are also very, very against recreational use of these products. And your company touts that this is fun, right? This is an alternative to alcohol and it's not as big a buzz, et cetera. How do you respond to that? That your product is a recreational use, yet it should be allowed. Maybe that's the elephant in the room that we're not talking about, because a lot of the talk in the special session during the legislative session was about medicinal purposes, helping veterans, chronic pain, et cetera.
It's a great question, and one we get quite often. Our products are adult beverages. We actually know a lot about adult beverages and how to regulate them. We've been doing it for almost 100 years. And what's interesting in this case is the alcohol beverage industry and the supply chain in Texas are raising their hands and saying, not only can we regulate these products, again, the lowest potency, safest drinks that are out on the market, products like ours, but we're really good at it. We've been doing it for a long time, and we're doing it now in Texas today. Our products are sold in over 500 liquor retailers across the state. We're in all the total lines in the state of Texas, and adults are walking into those stores every day. They're safely purchasing these products. These are products that we test. Every single can has a barcode on it. You can scan. You can look up the exact test results for that product. So this is being regulated today by the good actors in Texas. I don't think that should be the focus of lawmakers. The focus of lawmakers should be on the dangerous products, on the synthetic products, on those highly potent products, those ones that are disguised as candy and marketed to kids. We all agree that those products should not be allowed.
Looking at this, and you can help me if I'm misinterpreting it, but seeing what the Texas Senate has already advanced as far as this new bill, it looks like they're just going down the same road again, that they didn't make any changes to it. And so I'm wondering, is your emphasis, your hope for the change, is it that the governor is going to veto it again, or have you seen some changing among members of the legislature that is going to come to a more gentle position on this?
I'm optimistic that we will come to some set of sensible regulations. We want Texas lawmakers to pass a bill here. It is not a good outcome for anybody to revert back to what many are talking about as the wild, wild west, where these products are being sold and can be sold to minors. No one wants that. We need rules. The question is really, where do you draw the line? The governor got at that a little bit earlier this week when he said, I want, the really intoxicating stuff out, and I want the not intoxicating stuff to stay. Well, how do you measure that? Like, what is intoxicating? If you drink one of my 2 milligram drinks, I can tell you what, for most Texans, it's not intoxicating. If you drink 5, it most definitely would be. So where do you draw the line is an important question in front of lawmakers. And what we hope they do is they talk to all the constituents, right? They talk to farmers, they talk to veterans, they talk to the businesses that have been in this space, many for 7-8 years now, and they listen to what they have to say, and they decide where to draw the line. This is how the system works. The Senate has a view that's putting the bill forward. We anticipate the House will have a different view. Let's pass those bills. Let's come together and come to a compromise that makes sense for Texans.
Have you folks in the Coalition for Adult Beverages, have you folks spoken with Dan Patrick or his office to try and find somewhere that you can begin the conversation at that level? Because it seems as though if he could soften some on it, the pack would go with him.
I think that's probably right. We're trying to meet with anyone who will meet with us. And the Coalition of Adult Beverages is really unique in that we're talking about just drinks. We believe drinks are different, not only because they're low potency, not only because all the drink brands that are a member of the Coalition of Adult Beverage Alternatives are testing their products today. They're adhering to potency caps. They're all using naturally derived from the hemp plant extracts, no synthetics. These are part of our code of conduct that aren't just things that we say, they're things that we do. And that really makes the organization different. And I think it makes it a trusted advisor here, hopefully, to lawmakers as they try to decide, again, where to draw that line.
Jake, the stakes are so high, a $10 billion hemp industry, and you're talking about an all or nothing ban, right? What happens next? What if there is a ban? What happens to, businesses like yours and the dozens, if not hundreds, of businesses that employ those in the hemp industry?
It's a great question, and it's actually pretty easy to answer. We all leave. Sadly, we go away. The part of what defines a good actor is we comply with the law. So if a ban comes through and the Texas lawmakers decide to throw the baby out with the bathwater here, all the good actors go away. Guess who doesn't go away? The bad actors. The 100 milligram sour gummy worm products, the Delta 9 Oreo products that are marketed to kids, they stay and they go underground. They go to the cartels. The benefit of a regulation in this space is really one that crowds out the bad actors. Let there be a permissible amount of THC in drinks and other products that are low potency, that are the lowest risk, that we can regulate, and that the alcohol supply chain is raising their hand saying they can regulate. That will have a crowding out effect that will push all of these other products away. Veterans will be able to get these drinks if they want them in liquor stores. That's a really powerful thing. If you don't have that, it gets really scary really fast. We saw this in California. California banned hemp products. And if you go into any smoke shop in California, you'll find the most dangerous products on the shelves. What you won't find are products like Cann.
You talk about the bad actors, and the THC has been legal for a while here in our state, and the bad actors were still here. Are you thinking that regulations is what will help do away with the bad element, or is it just going to be you'll have to coexist together if it is legalized?
So Texas needs regulations, right? There's some obvious ones. These products should not be sold to minors, 21 plus. We know that. There needs to be clear testing and labeling guidelines. The businesses will do this. We test every one of our products, even though it's not required today in Texas. Every product we sell in Texas is tested. Put that burden on the businesses, and it makes really easy for law enforcement. They go into the store, they see a hemp product. If it doesn't have test results linked, to a QR code that are easily accessible, that product is in violation and comes off the shelf. Those types of regulations are really effective in other states. We're seeing a number of states, many states throughout the Southeast, that pass regulatory bills that make sense, that don't. These are not bans. They're allowed in states like Tennessee and Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia. And so we really kind of encourage those types of policies as a way forward here for Texas.
We are speaking with Jake Bullock, who is the founder and CEO of Cann. He's also a founding member of the Coalition for Adult Beverage Alternatives, talking about THC and products that have it in it here in our state and the regulations that are going on in the legislation that's debating it right now. If you want to join the conversation, give us a call at 713-440-8870. A weird question, and coming from someone who doesn't partake of any of this, if you're not going to get a buzz, why drink your drink?
People find that one of the most important things about social beverage is having a beverage in your hand. And so, just like you wouldn't really get that strong of an effect if you had half a glass of wine or a light beer, there's something social about it, right? I'm sitting across from you. You may be having a cocktail. I may be having a can. One of our friends may be having a light beer, and we're all socializing together. I think that's an important part of why beverages are different. It's also important to note that you have to drink the entire drink to get the 2 milligrams of THC. And in that way, beverages are also different, right? I think that's not true of some of these other form factors, the most dangerous form factors that folks are talking about and worry about. We generally agree. And 99% of the products that are really sort of scary from a potency standpoint, these are being made today in Texas with manufactured synthetic THC derivatives. That's not something that we do. We use only naturally occurring CBD and THC from the hemp plant. And I think that's another important reason why we need regulation here is we should ban the synthetic products. We don't have thousands of years of history of safety data around what those compounds do inside the body, where we do with THC and CBD.
It sounds like you're advocating for responsible hemp usage. I'm curious on how you counter the messaging that using such products might be a gateway to further abuse, addiction. I know that there doesn't seem to be indicators of such, but that information is out there among lawmakers, among the public.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things to note. The first is responsible consumption of these products. What does that really mean? It means don't consume them very frequently and don't consume them in high potency amounts. Products like ours are great because it's 2 milligrams in a can. Maybe you have a couple cans. That's never going to even get close to the amount from a potency standpoint that should have you worried. So that's the first and most important thing. The second thing I would say is a lot of when people talk about gateway drugs and loop in cannabis and THC into that conversation are missing a bigger picture. That often what's happening is folks are turning to THC products because that is what's most available. And these products are wildly available. To ask anybody in Texas, whether it's an illicit market or it's sold through the legal hemp market, THC is here to stay. It's not going away. Like the idea that by banning hemp, all of a sudden Texas will no longer have THC, I think is a little silly to me. It will just go underground. It will go to the cartels like we talked about. The bigger question is, are we providing the responsible treatment and therapy options for young folks, especially that are struggling with mental health issues, which are struggling with other issues where they might turn to a THC product to try to get relief? I think that's often what, when there's studies that are done in this space, that they find that folks are self-medicating and they're turning to what's most available. Many people are turning to alcohol today to do that as well. And I think the way that we solve that is with responsible, moderate consumption and with alternative treatment and therapeutic options for folks that are struggling with mental health issues.
I know folks that get these products mailed to them from other states. If the ban goes into effect here in this state, does that limit the availability of it being mailed into the state, or can those companies still provide it here in this state without it being illegal?
No, our understanding is this ban would prevent any sales in the state, whether those would be in a liquor store, for example, or through the mail online.
But you're not, well, I don't know. I'm thinking, but you're not buying it in this state. You're buying it in another state, and they're just sending it to you, and that's through the federal mail system. And I wonder if that becomes a difficult beast to deal with.
Yeah, you highlight an important issue, right, which is other states are allowing hemp products, and they're allowing hemp products with THC. And I think something like 22 states have passed laws since Minnesota kicked this whole thing off a few years ago. Almost all of them have decided to draw the line of THC allowed in products somewhere other than 0. In some cases it's 2, 3, 4 milligrams. In other cases it's 5, 10, 20 milligrams. And each state is making a different call there. But again, these products aren't going away. This is federally legal. And so Texas is going to have to reckon with them one way or another. I think the responsible thing to do is write their own laws. Let's come to a compromise here that makes folks happy. There, like I say, there's really good interests on the side of Senator Perry and Lieutenant Governor Patrick on this. We do not want highly potent synthetic gummy candies being marketed to kids anywhere for sale. And let's figure out the best way to get rid of those products, but also protect the products that are really having a transformative impact in adults' lives. I mean, I can tell you all sorts of amazing stories. Like we said, we're not a health product. We're not making health claims, but you would be blown away by the folks that reach out to us. I mean, especially our senior population, 70 plus, that are drinking this instead of alcohol and waking up without inflammation. And they're saying it's the most unbelievable thing. I feel good in the morning for the first time. That's pretty amazing. Small things, but powerful things.
Yeah. If you have thoughts, comments, want to join in, have an opinion on this, give us a call, 713-440-8870.
We have a YouTube question from Here There. Delta 9 is marketed as natural and not synthetic. Is this true? I don't know.
Yeah, so Delta 9 refers to the very specific chemical compound, Delta 9 THC. And this is primarily in products like ours, extracted directly from the hemp plant in an extraction process. There is also a way to synthetically manufacture Delta 9, Delta 8. You may have heard some of these others, THCO, CBDO, THCV, THCA. It's a whole alphabet soup of various cannabinoids that can be synthetically manufactured through a chemical conversion process in a lab. This is what we talk about when we say synthetic. This is what we talk about when we say we don't do it. And we also agree that the synthetic products are largely the 99% of the problem that we're talking about here. And so a sensible regulation that includes banning synthetics should work.
Okay. Jake, thank you very much for sharing this with us. I think you'll probably be following this story very closely. And
yes, indeed.
As we hear more out of Austin, I hope you'll come back and join us and help us make sense of what we're learning and what's moving forward.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Yeah. Happy to come back anytime. Thanks.
Thank you.